What's up guys, the Snowman here, back with an instructional basketball video today with my NBA fouls and violations explained. Basically just wanted to look at refereeing in the NBA and go over all of the different common fouls, things like the difference between a charge and a blocking foul, traveling, goaltending, and other violations. This will be a crash course on everything a referee might blow their whistle for throughout an NBA game. Let's start off with the different types of fouls in the NBA. We have three primary categories for this. Number one, personal fouls. Number two, technical fouls. And number three, flagrant fouls. Starting off with personal fouls, these are fouls that involve illegal physical contact between players. They don't automatically result in free throws for the other team unless the player who was fouled was in the act of shooting or if his team is in the bonus. Essentially, once a team commits their fifth personal foul in a quarter, then the other team is in the bonus and they'll shoot free throws for every personal foul until the end of the quarter. Also, if a player commits 6 personal fouls throughout a game, they're automatically disqualified. Technical fouls typically don't involve contact. They're more so infractions that occur outside of live play, like taunting, name-calling, arguing with referees, shoving, and general unsportsmanlike behavior. They can be assessed against players, coaches, or even the bench. Technical fouls result in the other team getting to shoot a free throw, and if a player gets 2 techs in one game, they'll be ejected immediately. And then for flagrant fouls, these are the most extreme type of foul. Flagrants are any foul that referees deem unnecessary or excessive. Typically, we see them called when there's extreme contact, even bordering on dirty plays that might cause an injury, like swinging an elbow or body checking a player in mid-air. The two kinds here are flagrant foul 1s and flagrant foul 2s. Both fouls grant the player who was fouled 2 free throws in his team possession of the ball. In addition, if someone commits a flagrant 2, then they're automatically removed from the game. So those are our 3 types of fouls. Let's dive deeper now into some common personal fouls. Charging foul, or a charge, is when an offensive player runs into a stationary defensive player who has established themselves in a legal guarding position. It's kind of wordy, but basically the defender has to have their feet set. They can't be moving. They also can't be standing in the restricted area near the rim. If an offensive player forcefully moves through them, then it would be a charge and the offensive team would lose possession of the ball. Illegal screen is another offensive foul that results in a turnover. A few ways a screen can be illegal. If the screener moves during the action, it's illegal. They have to be fully set. Also, if the player who's setting the screen has their legs set more than shoulder width apart, or if the screener leans in to make contact with the offensive player, all of those cases would result in a personal foul and a turnover. A few defensive fouls now. The blocking foul involves a defender physically blocking their opponent's path without being in a set legal guarding position. Essentially, this is the opposite of the charge from before. With a blocking foul, the defender is either in the restricted area, still moving, or leaning into the offensive player. If the offensive player is in the act of shooting, they would shoot free throws after a blocking call. A reach-in foul is pretty straightforward. This occurs when a defender reaches in, attempting to steal the ball. However, they instead make contact with their opponent. This normally wouldn't allow the offensive player to shoot free throws unless their team is already in the bonus for that quarter. In that case, they would shoot a pair of free throws. Loose ball fouls are committed when neither team has control of the ball. For example, if a ball is deflected and 2 players are going for it, we see loose ball fouls a lot when one player fouls another while they're fighting to gain control of a loose ball. Similar to that, an over-the-back foul can happen while players are jockeying for a position to secure a rebound. When a shot goes up, players are allowed to legally box out their opponents, but it is an over-the-back foul if they make illegal contact by reaching up and over an opponent's back. And finally, we have the intentional foul, which, like the name suggests, it's a foul that the defense commits deliberately. Typically, you'll see this in the fourth quarter, late in games when teams behind in the scoreboard are trying to stop the clock and prolong the game. Their only hope is to intentionally foul and hope the other team misses free throws so they can regain possession and attempt a comeback. So those are most of the common fouls. Now let's get into some violations. There's several time-related rules as well as dribbling or on-court rules. Starting with some time violations, our first is the 5-second inbound violation. At the start of each possession, a player has 5 seconds to inbound the ball once the ref hands it to them. If they still haven't passed the ball after 5 seconds, it's a turnover. We also have the 8-second violation, so once the offense gains possession of the ball in the backcourt, they've got 8 seconds to advance the ball over half court. If they take longer than 8 seconds, the other team gets possession of the ball. Another violation, the 24-second shot clock violation. Once an offensive possession begins, that team has 24 seconds in the NBA to attempt this shot. If 24 seconds pass and the offensive team still has the ball in their hands, it's a shot clock violation. This prevents the offense from stalling by simply passing the ball around and wasting massive amounts of time. There's also a 3-second violation if an offensive player or defender who's not actively guarding an opponent stands in the paint for more than 3 seconds. You can't just camp out in the lane. If you do, an offensive 3-second call results in a turnover, and a defensive 3-second violation equates to the offense shooting a technical foul shot. Our last one here, the backcourt violation, also known as over and back. Once an offensive player brings the ball into the front court near their basket, the offense can't go back and bring the ball into the backcourt. Once again, here the penalty would be a turnover and the ball being awarded to the other team. Let's wrap up now with a batch of general violations on the basketball court, starting with traveling. What is traveling? This is a violation when the player currently possessing the basketball takes too many steps while holding the ball or without dribbling. In the NBA, you can take a maximum of 2 steps without dribbling before you shoot or pass, but anything beyond that and it's a travel. Also, if you move your pivot foot, that's considered traveling and an automatic turnover. Double dribble is pretty similar to traveling. This is when a player picks up their dribble and then resumes dribbling afterwards. It's also a double dribble if a player dribbles with both hands at the same time. The penalty here, again, a loss of possession. We also have goaltending. This is when a defender interferes with the ball on its way to the basket after an opponent attempts a shot. Defenders can't touch the ball while it's on its way downward with a chance to go in the basket. They can't touch it by reaching through the net and rim. They also can't touch it if the ball's coming off the backboard with a chance to go in, or while the ball is in the cylinder, which is the imaginary area from the rim upward. If a defender commits goaltending, then the basket is awarded to the opposing team whether the shot went in or not. The kickball violation is exactly what the name suggests. A player isn't allowed to purposefully kick the basketball. If it's accidental contact with a player's legs, that's up to the discretion of the ref, but an intentional kicking motion by a defender will result in a kickball violation and the shot clock resetting to 14 seconds for the offense. Last violation for today then is the lane violation. This happens during free throws. If a defender enters the paint and starts boxing out before the shooter has begun his shooting motion, then it's a lane violation and the offense would get a do-over on their free throw attempt. If an offensive player steps into the lane too early, the offense forfeits their free throw attempt. So this one is a little more subjective. Honestly, it's pretty random whether a referee calls a lane violation or not, but those are most of the common violations in the NBA. Thanks a lot for watching my NBA fouls and violations explained video. Please leave a comment. Let me know if you have any questions about it, and give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the Snowman Sports Media for more sports content and weekly videos. Hope to see you again soon. Cheers.